Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Today we're going to be signing our very last speech. Um, I don't know if we're doing final exams with the school or not yet. But either way, we don't really do a final exam in this class. We just do a speech and we count it as the final exam grade. So either way, we'll be doing this speech, whether it's going to be your final exam or not. Um, it's going to be 6 to 9 minutes. And I'm gonna let y'all decide if you want to like record it and then put it on YouTube and share it with me, or if you want to do it live where we would like set up an appointment and we would do a Zoom call or like FaceTime or Skype or whatever, and you would present it that way. Either one is fine with me. Um, I'm gonna leave a space below in the outline template. Um, Recorded or live, and then just like highlight or type or whatever. Just tell me which one you're gonna do. Um, Actually, I'm just gonna assume y'all are probably gonna want to do recorded and not live. Um, so if you want to do live, just email me. Email Mrs. White if you want to make an appointment to present live. I was laughing at a quote from a movie y'all probably never seen. If y'all ever seen the Jimmy Neutron movie when they're planning to sneak out to go to this like theme park, and then Sheen is like, "Meet Ultra Lord live." Uh, yeah, y'all probably never even seen that show. Whatever, I don't even care. Anyways, so this week is 6 to 9 minutes, and it can be recorded or live. I'm gonna assume all of you want recorded. But if you want to do it live, just email me to make an appointment. It's going to be 100 points, the same points as the rest of our other speeches. We have due dates. So today is April 17th. So Monday is April 20th. And so your organizational statements are going to be due that night. And then your body of your speech, so the outline, is going to be due April 24th. And that's a Friday. So you've got like the whole week to do some research. I think I might do some kind of like, not like an annotated bibliography because that's a friggin' nightmare, but something that shows me that you're doing research before you get into like this core part. So I'm gonna add that due date in later as we get like not closer because we're already pretty close to it. Like I'm gonna add it in later. But this is for like the outline stuff. And then the introduction is due before midnight on April 30th, which is a Thursday. The final outline, so all corrections made, it's set, it's ready to go, is due May 4th by that night. And then your video of the actual speech is due May 8th. So if you want to, if you want to do the live presentation, you should need to accept your appointment before this time, obviously. Please don't schedule your appointment for like 11 that night because I will be very grumpy. So you need to stick to these like due dates in the sense that like, as always, some of y'all still don't do this and it makes me rip my hair out. You have to turn in your organizational statements. Like actually freaking click turn in on Google Classroom. So click turn in. So then you can't edit it anymore because I have to grade it and turn it back into you. So turn in your organizational statements, I'll grade them, give them back to you. Then do the body, turn it in, I'll grade it and get it back to you. Then you do the intro and so on. But like you don't really have to stick to the due dates per se. So like if you do the organizational statements by 11:59 p.m. April 20th, I grade them and give them back to you. And then you're like maybe a really fast writer or like your other classes are really easy or something. And so you get it done on like April 22nd. Then like, okay, if you get the body done April 22nd, okay, I'll grade it, get it back to you. And then 2 days after that, you get the intro done. So okay, April 26th, I'll grade it and get it back to you. Then 2 days after that, you get the final outline done. So that's like April 28th. And then you just work really hard practicing. You present the speech on like May 1st. And then you're done with the class because like that's the last speech. So I'm not saying to rush it, but it's just like you don't have to stick with these due dates exactly if you're just like killing time because your other classes are easy or something. Of course, if you want to knock it out to work on another class, that's fine with me. You have to make sure that you just turn in the section at a time, turn it in, let me grade it, get it back to you, and then move on to the next step. I don't know how else to say that, but some of y'all still aren't doing it. So if you have a question, please just ask me. Also, please go in the order. So some of y'all are still doing organizational statements and then your intro. Beats me. Don't know why you do that, because we've talked about it 1,000 times to do the body first. So please don't. So just follow the due dates I've set out for you. It's right there. I don't know how you would do anything different. For your prompt, it's a persuasive speech. You're going to persuade us to implement a new policy, law, or rule in our government or school. That kind of rhymed. That was nice. Minimum requirements. I let y'all slide for a lot of these because I'm nice, but this is basically the final, so like, I mean it. So a lot of y'all do, where is it? A lot of y'all do this. You just write out your whole outline without letting me check it. If you do that, I'm going to start you at an 80%, and then you're losing points from there. So like, if you write a perfect speech, cool, you're still getting an 80. If you do a normal amount of things wrong, you could be getting a 70. So like, please, like, if any of these things are confusing, please let me know, because like, this is the final. Like, this is where you demonstrate all the things you've learned from me. So please make sure you read the instructions, and just make sure you email me if you have any questions. The speech has to be persuasive, and you have to present both sides of the matter, not just your perspective in a flattering light. So if you want to talk about changing the dress code at Shiloh, which I would not recommend because it's the most boring and basic topic ever, and I've heard it 1,000 times. There's not really a new argument you could present to me. Love y'all forever, but someone does it every year, so it's not really anything new or interesting. And y'all are interesting, so pick something different. So if you were talking about persuading administration to like change dress code in some way, and you only talk about why dress code is oppressive and you hate it and why it should change, okay, but like, you need to talk about why that dress code is in place. Like, why might this be helpful? Why might this be effective? And then of course, like, it's persuasion. So you are going to give like both sides, then still show how yours is elevated above the other. But you got to show both sides. Then a problem is clearly identified and explained, and the proposed solution would actually solve the problem. So you have to make a very clear connection. You have to be sure to avoid logical fallacies. Make sure it's not just like, wait, what does this solution have to do with the problem? Your speech must have an introduction, body, and conclusion, and a clear organizational pattern is used. In our Unit 6 lecture about speaking context, we learned about the different, actually, no, that was in persuasion. Sorry, in Unit 7 about persuasion, we learned about the different organizational patterns we have. So you could do problem solution, and that third point would be about how practical and effective the solution would be. Problem cause solution, where knowing about the cause of the problem is very important to knowing how the solution is going to solve both those. And lastly, comparative advantage, where you might be talking about what the problem is, what your solution is, and why your solution is better than some alternative. Your information should be easily verified through citation, as you are required to have a minimum of 3 quality sources. They need to be quality. So like, I don't know. I think y'all know what quality sources are, but just like, make sure like if you're citing like a magazine or something, just like, or like a blog, it needs to be something that's like relevant to your topics. Like, I'm not going to cite like ESPN if I'm talking about like dress code, because ESPN is an expert on sports, but not about dress codes. That doesn't make any sense. So quality sources like journals would be better, or like major corporations would be better. There's this website I like called All Sides, and they provide like really balanced information. They give information from like Democratic sources, Republican sources, and sources from more center. So those can be really helpful. I love those. So I'll say like Mr. I don't know those. Ms. White likes allsides.com. I don't know. Think about it. I'll put www. So we have a nice little link. Meep. A minimum of 3 quality sources, but you should reference them much, much more. Like, remember, citing sources makes you sound smarter. Like, whenever I hear a speech and there's not a lot of sources in there, that's pretty much like automatically a pretty crappy speech if it's like supposed to be informative or persuasive. Because like, I want to hear like other perspectives and voices besides just yours. So like you sound way smarter by adding more research in. So add more research in. You make sure you cite your sources orally within the speech and include them in the footnotes using the Explore tool. Um, we talked about citing sources like forever ago, but remember that when you're citing orally within the speech, the attribution has to go first. If I can spell attribution. Still can't spell it. Attribution goes first. So like the according to. So remember when you're like talking about like, oh, my mom said I'm grounded. Or I'm grounded, said my mom. Second one makes no sense. That's how we write, but not how we speak. So when you're citing your sources, you need to say, according to the Wall Street Journal, these are facts. So make sure the attribution goes first when you're citing orally. And you're also going to include your sources in footnotes using the Explore tool. We've done that before already, but I'll give you just a brief little overview. So let's say that I am wanting to talk about stimulus checks. I already found like a little source. Come on to show it. I'm talking about stimulus checks. So according to AARP, and they deal in like finances, I'm pretty sure. So that would be a credible source. It'd be a quality source because they deal with like funds and money and stuff. I'm pretty sure. I'd be embarrassed if they don't. But so it says, okay, married couples who filed jointly will receive $2,400. I'm a married couple. That's interesting to me. I'll include that in my speech. So say, according to AARP, married couples who file jointly will receive $2,400. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the link. And I've got to provide cursor at the end of my little sentence where the information is. And I'm going to click on this button down here that says Explore Tool. What does this Explore? It doesn't say Explore Tool. And it says search your docs in the web. I'm going to paste that AARP article. I'm going to hit enter. And then, oh my gosh, look, it's crazy. That's the website I was just looking at. So again, I'm going to make sure my cursor is where I want it to be. It needs to be at the end of the sentence that I just cited that information in. I'm going to click Cite as footnote. Boop. And then, whoa, there's this cute little number one. I wonder where it's going. Oh my gosh, what? Number one. And then it has a link and a little citation for that article. That's so cool. So that may not be how you cite sources for your other classes. It's probably not, but for me, that's fine. I don't need a big fancy works cited page. That's a waste of time for a class like this. But I do need to see where you got your information from so I can go and like fact check if I need to. So that is how I'm going to ask y'all to cite your sources. Just use the Explore tool, saves time. Not just copy and paste your links somewhere on your page. That's not super professional. So please just use the Explore tool. It's easy. Just do it. So cite your sources. Testimony of non-experts does not count as one of your quality sources. So remember we talked about logical fallacies, like you have to use people who are actually credible towards the topic. And also make sure you don't just count don't do a hasty generalization either. So make sure you use people who are knowledgeable about your topic and get a good sample. No plagiarism, duh. Don't get a 0. That'd be stupid. Follow outline requirements. Let me check each component of your outline before I'm going to the next. You have to write the body before the intro. I don't know how else to say this, so if you have questions, please let me know. You need to have a minimum of 1 high-quality, purposeful visual aid. It could be like your appearance. Like if you're trying to change some law about like nurses or doctors or something, and you are like well, none of y'all are nurses. If you want to be a nursing major and for some reason you already have your scrubs because you're just anticipating you'll get into the nursing program, maybe you wear your scrubs. Oh wait, y'all have I think y'all have like medical coats from that like little med club or something. You could wear your little medical coat and talk like when you're talking about your ethos, be like, oh man, like as you can see from my coat, I'm really interested in medical whatever. So like that could be your visual aid. Or you could drop a little graph or a chart, or you could use a picture. I don't know. It's going to be traditional, not technological, so you're not going to use a PowerPoint or a video. You could use audio, I guess. Could use audio. It's just not really going to work to use a PowerPoint because, like, if you like pull up PowerPoint on your phone and try to hold it up to your computer camera as you're filming, it's going to be kind of odd. If you're really good with editing and stuff, where you could like I don't know, like have a video of yourself and then like patch in like a screencast by like a PowerPoint, you could do that. I'm not that tech savvy though, so I'm not going to try and pretend to teach y'all how to do that. So if you're really tech savvy, go for the technological visual aids. Otherwise, we'll stick with the traditional ones or audio. So one high quality, purposeful visual aid. And what I just said about the appearance, like that's just an example. Like that wouldn't really be like the best option you could use, but if that's really all you had at your disposal, or like that's all you could think of, then like that could be like we can make it work. Lastly, addresses the appropriate audience. So we talked about we learned about the speaking environment, speaking context. You have to consider who your audience is because demographics are very important in using audience analysis strategies. So like if you're talking about a government law, then you're talking to government officials. If you're talking about changing a school rule, you're talking to teachers or maybe administration. Basically, just know who you're talking to that actually has the authority to implement this change. The big problem a lot of students come into with this speech is that they'll talk about changing a school rule. And so their attention getter will be like, oh man, don't you hate when you're staying up until like 4 a.m. writing a paper for Sutterfield? And it's like, wait, you're talking to administration. Why is Coach Gill staying up until 3 a.m. writing a paper for Sutterfield? It makes no sense. So make sure you're addressing the appropriate audience and using appropriate and relevant content to reach them and engage with them. So those are all the things that are just minimum requirements, bare minimum you got to do to receive a B or better. Next, we have general criteria. Mode of delivery is extemporaneous. Obviously, like please make sure that you are still trying to engage with your audience by looking at the camera as much as you can. Does not need to be memorized by any means, but shouldn't be reading off of a script either. We're going to have a dress code for this speech. It's going to be business casual. So please review your notes on business casual before you start practicing and recording so you can make sure you look nice. The speech is 6 to 9 minutes. If you're over or under by more than 30, time's reduced by 5%. You have to turn in your full final version of your outline before or by May 8th. Just whenever you turn in your video or whenever you do your live presentation, you gotta, have your outline done. It needs to be typed and free from grammatical and organizational errors. I can't really enforce this, but I would recommend still using your white note cards as your speaking notes. You can have someone like stand behind your laptop and like hold them for you, or you can like tape them on like the wall. I've had students tape them like behind like their computer screen or around the edges. Anything like that. Or you can also just hold them. I don't really mind that. And y'all know I think note cards are the best way to give a speech, like the best speaking notes tool for you. I can't really enforce it because I'm not there, but I would recommend it. I think it's going to be the best way you can give a speech and be able to engage with your audience through this camera. Here is our template that you're going to use to complete your speech, all of the things. And then I've also got an outline example down here. I chose my topic as trying to persuade Shiloh administration to allow students and faculty to have a longer lunch break. The problem I introduced was busyness. I explained how my solution would solve this problem, and then I explained how the solution is practical. I'm not going to go through and read this whole thing to y'all because you can do it yourself, and my computer is dying. That's basically it, though. So that is the assignment. There's a sample in there. You have all the instructions. Your organizational statements are due on April 20th before 11:59 p.m. You can turn them in sooner if you want to. If y'all have any questions, please email me. I'm happy to help you. Have a good weekend.